Never let anybody see you sweat. So I was born in New York City, and I lived there until I was 8 years old. I realized that I was a much better talker than I was a listener. I don't know what to say, I just don't like what you're saying.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I ended up going to law school at Georgetown, and I was a prosecutor for Janet Reno. I loved it because it was so raw. Were you cheating on her?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All rise.
Our show will be a mixture of education, I think you're misreading the law a little bit, and entertainment. My main goal is justice and the law. That's been my legacy, and the legacy I hope to continue into the future with the show.
Lucas Brennan says his dad promised him a vintage sedan, but sold the family heirloom out of spite after they had a falling out. Raymond Brennan says the car belonged to him, and he needed the money to repair his leaky roof.
Mr. Brennan, you are suing your father, Mr. Brennan, for $10,000 for breach of contract. Tell me what's going on.
My father, for decades, has promised me that he will give me on my 30th birthday the ownership to a vintage sedan that is our family's. Last August, he came to visit my fiance and I and our son, his grandson.
How old's the grandson?
He's 2. So he had an altercation with my fiance where he was upset with her because he didn't feel like she was doing enough parenting of the child. And
meaning what, discipline?
Yes, exactly.
What was his complaint?
He was complaining that our child was throwing toys around the house and had too much energy and was being too rambunctious, and my response was that he's 2, and we're 2 working parents, and we're doing our best with what we have.
Okay, did your fiance respond at all?
Yes. So, if I may offer evidence, would you need a
first
copy?
tell me what it is.
So the evidence is a text conversation between my fiance and I. It was...
Okay, no, what I was asking is, did she respond to him at that moment?
She felt like he was being disrespectful and wanted an apology.
Right, so what did she say? Because she felt that way, she said what? What did she say to him?
She said, I feel disrespected by you.
And what did he say?
He thought that he was just giving his 2 cents as a father.
What did you say to your, what did you say?
Well, the kid was going a little crazy, yes, too, but he was actually legitimately throwing the toys around the room.
Okay.
And I thought, you know, at least you could do is step in. I was just making a creative suggestion to her, saying...
To her?
To her.
Why not to him?
Why not to him? I talked to his fiance.
But why to her? Why not to him?
Because he was
Maybe you could get more creative with your suggestions with your own son instead of her.
Well, he was actually in the kitchen at the time.
Okay, so you said to her what?
I said, you should have a little more control over him because he's actually...
When in your life has that gone over well? Telling someone in their home that they should have more control over their kid?
Well, he's wrecking things in the house.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, why are you saying this to her? Don't you think there might have been a better way, like maybe saying something to your son?
That probably would have been the better option.
Oh, you think?
It was the heat of the moment, and I was...
What heat? You're just a bystander. Did he poke your eye out? The kid was just doing what they do, perhaps a little too permissive a situation, but honestly, if you're gonna criticize somebody's parenting, don't you think it would be better to wait and talk to your son privately? You know?
I was just offering a creative suggestion.
That never goes over well. There's always a fine line between grandparents offering a creative suggestion and grandparents criticizing the parenting of the person. So you err all the time on the side of, unless it's danger. All right, go on.
So I thought I'd give the creative suggestion, like I said.
Super creative.
She didn't
discipline your kid. He's out of control. Super creative.
She did not
take it well.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
what did she say to you?
Don't try to teach me how to parent my kid.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, you got to step in somewhere, you know, because if this continues throughout life, you know, granted, he's only 2. Yes, the terrible 2s are always bad. Maybe a little, hey, don't do that would be nice.
Is that how you said it to her?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about if she would parent the kid.
Why don't you wait till your son comes back in the room and see if he parents the kid?
Well, I raised my son to be a wonderful person.
Okay.
When we lost his mother.
How old was he when you lost your
He was
mom?
13 years old.
I'm sorry about both of your
And
loss.
I took on full responsibility. I did what I could to survive, and I would even not eat so he could eat. And that's why I don't understand why he's dragging me to court.
Well, he's dragging you to court because, according to him, you promised him the car when he turned the magical age of 30, and you sold it, even though his name was on the title. Now, you were going to show me some text from your fiance to you?
Yes, it was just further proof that I was in the middle of this argument that they had, and the only thing I asked of my father was that he apologized to my fiance, and he could visit Lucas Jr. and he could see his grandson.
Wait. So all of a sudden he couldn't see his grandson? He wasn't welcome in the home?
That was part of it. It was that there was a fight in August, then September came my birthday.
Wait, but in August, did your fiance tell you he's not welcome at the home?
Yes, after that argument in
Did
August.
you ever tell him you're not welcome at the home until you apologize?
Yes.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
How much do you have to up the ante based on just stubbornness? Why are you doing this? When was the last time you saw your grandkid?
It's been a few months.
How do you feel about that?
I don't like it at all.
And later,
You just want the book back because it's worth $7,500.
Is that when you first learned how valuable a first edition of Little
Judge.
Women was?
Yes, Judge.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Lucas Brennan, who's fighting with his father, Raymond Brennan, over the sale of a vintage car.
What was his reaction?
He thought it was ridiculous. He didn't think he needed to apologize to her.
Okay.
He thought he should have a part in his grandson's life, and I wholeheartedly agree. I'm just asking for one thing from him, and...
You know your dad pretty well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you think that was going to go over well with him, that he was forced to apologize to see his grandkid?
No.
Right. And can I ask you something? What's the big deal about apologizing? If you hurt somebody's feelings, why wouldn't you just apologize? Who cares?
I understand that, but this is the principle of the whole thing.
What's the principle? That you should be able to tell a parent that they stink at what they're doing whenever you
At the
please?
time, I didn't feel like I was in the wrong.
Okay, and then later, why wouldn't the first words out of your mouth be fine? I'm sorry about that. Why wouldn't you just do that?
I didn't think I did anything wrong.
Who cares? Are you a grown-up or aren't you? Like, who cares if you did something right or wrong? You're the third party in a home situation, criticizing the two parties in that situation, but really only her. And then he tells you, please, will you apologize to her and get this over with? And instead of just doing it, you sell the car. Tell me about the selling of the car.
After we didn't resolve our issues, I felt that, okay, the roof is leaking on my house, and I didn't want to take out any debt to pay for the roof. And so I had an estimate come in, and it happened to be the right price of the same car that I sold the car for.
The Cadillac that you promised him for decades.
Yeah, but
Why would you do that if you promised it to your son for
I promised
decades?
it when he was a little kid.
Did you promise it again and again and again?
Well, every time we rode in the car.
Yeah. So
It's like, someday
why would
this
you
is gonna be
sell
yours.
How much do you have to up the ante based on just stubbornness? Why are you doing this? When was the last time you saw your grandkid?
It's been a few months.
How do you feel about that?
I don't like it at all.
So why don't you just stop it then by doing what, even if you don't think you have to, why wouldn't you just do it? In any event, why would you sell the car that you promised to your son? Never mind what you did to her, okay? You feel like you were in the right.
I've been living paycheck to paycheck for
Why
pretty
would
much
you
all my
sell
life.
the car that you promised your son?
I
Your
didn't
roof was
have-
just fine until this argument. All of a sudden, your roof has to have the repair that day, and you have to sell the car you've been promising him from the time he was little?
I didn't have the money.
You put his name on the car, didn't you?
I did.
When did you do that?
On his 18th birthday. My intentions were always to give him the car.
Now, you didn't put it solely in his name. It was in both your names, either or. That's how you were able to sell it. It was not Lucas and Raymond. It was Lucas or Raymond. So it only
Correct.
required one of your signatures to sell it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but both of your names are on the car. Typically, we'd be looking at this and saying, is this a contract or isn't it? Sometimes a promise can be enforceable as a contract if there's detrimental reliance thereon. And it can't just be, well, I'm disappointed. It's got to be actual detrimental reliance thereon. He'd have a hard time showing that. He has a great time showing that you're a miserable dad to promise him the car forever and then take it away. You're that petty. He'd have a real easy time proving that. but he would have a very hard time proving that he detrimentally relied on the promise. What's detrimental reliance? You know, you go out and you buy all the parts for the thing, and so you've got thousands of dollars worth of parts in it. Well, I'm supposed to get it. I detrimentally relied on this. You know, that's detrimental reliance. However, he's got another argument, which is my name's on the car. So when he did that on my 18th birthday, now we both own the car. So in what planet wouldn't you owe him at a minimum $5,000?
I just feel that it was my car to begin with, my right to sell it. The money was needed at the time. Matter of fact, it's needed.
Has he always been this stubborn?
Yes.
Did he raise you single-handedly?
After I was 13, yes.
I don't understand how you would put your relationship with your son at jeopardy, put your relationship with your grandson at jeopardy, and put the relationship with your grandson's mother in jeopardy just to be right. How can you think, oh, I'm insulted, he's taking me to court? Like, he's taking you to court because he's hurt. Don't you see that?
But
like, you would rather be right than have a relationship with your grandson. You would rather be right than give your son something you promised him all his life. Sounds awful when I say it, doesn't it?
It does.
Right. So reflect. And in the meantime, you owe him $5,000. So I am issuing a verdict for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000 because you put his name on that title. I'm gonna bang that gavel in a second and I'm gonna walk off the bench. And I'm probably gonna text my kids and then I'll talk to them later and we'll have Thanksgiving together and we'll have Christmas together and I'll visit with them. And if they ever bless me with grandchildren, I will be seeing my grandkid and keeping my mouth shut. What are you gonna do?
Probably have to keep my mouth shut from this day forward.
Well, maybe first say, I'm sorry if that's the recipe that's needed, even if you don't mean it. Try to mean it, but if you don't, look at where this got us. Verdict to the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $5,000.
I'm sorry it had to go down like this. I still love you.
I'm sure we can hash this out and become a loving family together.
Coming up.
Did you tell her how you came to have the book, or you didn't tell her?
I didn't tell her. I did tell her dad, who's my brother.
Okay.
He leaned over to me and he was like, "You won the birthday."
You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. Daniel Robertson claims his neighbor mistakenly took a valuable first edition novel from his book giveaway and refused to return it. Clarke says he gave the literary classic to his niece and won't take it away from her.
Mr. Robertson, you are suing your neighbor, Mr. Clarke, for $7,500 that you want him to pay you, and he refuses to do so. What happened here?
I am an avid book collector, a reader. I have over 200 books at my home. My wife died recently, and I'm downsizing. I'm moving out of our home.
Sorry for your loss.
Thank you. And we have one room that we kind of converted to a reading room, if you will, and we have all our books in there. In the middle of moving, the boxes are all over the place. And so I decided to give some books away to neighbors and to some friends. And I got in touch with the defendant, and he's a good friend. He's a good guy. I've known him for about 10 years. And I said, would you like some of the books? And he said, I'd love to come over and get them. Well, the day that he decided to come over, I was not available. I was going out on a job interview at the time, and he said, I can't make it. I said, listen, I'll leave the back door open. Come on in. When you leave, just lock up. I have all the books that I really keep as close to me in my bedroom. However, in the reading room, the books that are in there, help yourself.
Okay.
That was fine. I came home. He had already gone. The door was locked. I knew that he had come. There was a piece of the set that was missing, and it was Little Women.
Were they first editions?
I had no idea where they were from. I do know that they were from my granny, and so I wanted to make sure that set didn't get divided up.
Coming up.
When you call him, you know the value of the book. Don't you think he's gonna go, wait, what? Like, don't you think he's gonna be upset?
I thought we would have a good laugh about it.
Good laugh about it.
You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with a dispute between Daniel Robertson and Clarke over a first edition novel.
I said, I want that book back. And he said, I'm not going to rip it out of my niece's hands. No way I'm going to do that. And he hung up on me. He followed up with a text after that that said, I'm not going to give you the book back. You just want the book back because it's worth $7,500.
Is that when you first learned how valuable a first edition of Little
Judge.
Women was?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Talk to me, Mr. Clarke. What happened?
I just want to start out by saying Daniel's a great guy. We have been neighbors for close to 10 years. We became close because we are both collectors. I collect VHS tapes, he collects books. We had a date set, he got a job interview, and I let him know, let's reschedule.
Hold on. Why would anybody collect VHS tapes?
I mean, they're worth more than gold. It's
Really?
going to be the future. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no, but wait, you're planning on it being, I mean, do people really, I am not being sarcastic, I'm asking you, people really, that's a thing? People collect VHS tapes?
It's growing.
Right, go on.
Yeah, so he let me know I could come check out his books. I did go over. I went straight to the library, looked through the books, grabbed about 15, one of which was Little Women. I didn't know it was a first edition. All I knew is that my niece, she loved that movie that came out a few years ago. I wanted to give her this book. I gave her the book. She was ecstatic. She loved this book. I've never seen her so happy. First of all, I've never seen her set down her phone and read a book, and it was for this one. And as she was reading it, she was like, Uncle K, this is a first edition.
So between all of you, the one who realized it was a first edition was a 13-year-old?
She's smarter than all of
God
us.
bless her, go on.
She recognized that it was a first edition. She then Googled it and was like, this is worth $7,500.
Did you tell her how you came to have the book, or you didn't tell her?
I didn't tell her, I did tell her dad, who's my
Okay.
brother.
Okay.
He leaned over to me and he was like, you won the birthday.
Judge Milian's verdict when justice for the people returns. You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian.
When you call him, you know the value of the book. So you call him to tell him the value of the book. Don't you think he's gonna go, wait, what? Like, don't you think he's gonna be upset?
I thought we would have a good laugh about it.
Good laugh about it.
If it's the book that she's so concerned about and enjoying so much because she enjoyed the movie, and now she's reading the book and she's so
Yeah, I'm not buying that
excited.
stuff either. I mean, it's not that I'm not buying it. I'm sure every word you said was true. That's not why you won't give this back. I mean, because it's that she realized that it's a first edition. Now it's super valuable to her, and you don't want to take that out of her. It's not like he said, no, give it back, I'm going to replace it, and then went out and sold it. And your feeling is, oh, wait, I gave away something I didn't mean to give away.
Yes, Your Honor.
And therefore, you're suing to either get the book back or the value of the book.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here's the problem. The only thing that matters is the fact that the gift was completed. Once a gift is completed, he's the owner of the book. And I cannot order him to return the book or to pay you the money. I'm sorry, that law is super clear and my hands are completely tied. Good luck.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
I am just glad that justice was served and I didn't have to take a book out of a young girl's hands.
Legally, that may be correct, as a judge said. I thought morally you had better balances than that.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.